Compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law, I wish to state that on November 16, 2018, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the official Township Bulletin Board, mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, the Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel, Ledger, the Herald Times, and filed with the Township Clerk. Tonight's meeting is being video recorded up until the closed session portion of this meeting and will be available on UTTV Channel 97 on the Upper Township website. I hereby direct that this announcement made a part of the minutes of this meeting. I would ask all to rise for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Barbara, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Cobb?
Here.
Mr. Corson is vacation, I believe, this evening.
Mr. Corson and Mr. Young are both on vacation this week.
And Mayor Plummer.
Here.
3 members are present.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes from November 5th, both the regular meeting and the closed session minutes?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
And Mayor Plummer.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
All right. We don't have Scott this evening. He's not feeling well. So, Barbara.
Just have a couple of announcements. Upper Township offices will be closed for Thanksgiving, and they will also be closed on Friday in observance of the holiday. Trash collection we will have trash collection on Friday, November 23rd. If your trash collection day falls on Friday, you will put out your trash and recycling. Your trash and recycling will be collected on Monday, the 26th. And the next thing I wanted to remind everyone, our next meeting is December 3rd, and we'll have our annual tree lighting at 6:30 prior to the committee meeting. And that's all. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nothing at this time, other than happy Thanksgiving, and we do have a few items for closed session, but
Same here.
Well, Paul's already jumping the season. He's got his Christmas tie
He's on
on,
the wrong
ready to rock and
holiday.
roll. Do you have anything today?
Thank you. I just would like to give a status update on the Strathmere beaches. They're kind of, I think since our last meeting, they're holding their own. I don't think that it has gotten any worse from the last meeting. I've coordinated with Barbara, and I think that, we have all of the funding and everything else is in line. So if things do take a turn for worse between Scott declaring a state of emergency in coordination with you, Rich, as mayor, I think we'll be able to coordinate and get everything and handle it in a responsive manner.
Wasn't one of the discussions that I recall was that we were going to put together at least a contingency plan and talk about like maybe who would be available from a contractor standpoint to bring?
I have those.
Okay.
I've talked to those contractors,
Okay.
especially, we've used 2 contractors in the past to do this specific work, and I've talked to both of those, and they have the men and manpower available. Obviously, depending on exactly when it happens, there's a timing situation, but we'll know that in advance as things would deteriorate if that happens.
Okay, that's good. So we're in a holding pattern right
We're in
now.
a holding pattern, and we're just making sure we have all our things in the road. Just
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for, like I said, if we have a plan of contractors in the event that, I mean, who knows what the weather's gonna be like. We started off and it sounds like Thanksgiving's gonna be the coldest in 50, 60 or whatever the weather people are saying years. I just want to make sure that in the event that some kind of nor'easter or some unexpected storm develops, which really has a tendency to cause that erosion, that we're ready to jump in if we need to, so.
we are.
Okay. Good.
That's all I
Good
had
to
to
hear.
say.
So
Barbara,
nothing this evening.
well, we're moving along.
nothing this evening.
Debbie May Barr, congratulations on your
There's nobody
reelection.
else here?
Congratulations on your reelection.
Oh, same here. Congratulations.
We haven't talked since the election, right? We haven't had a meeting.
Of course, it is leaf season, so everybody pay attention to your pin maps on when our leaf patrol is going to come into your neighborhood. So, I mean, it looks like we have quite a bit out there to be picked up. So be patient, and our people will be around to your residents. That's all I have, and just happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Have a safe and wonderful holiday.
Very nice. I want to congratulate, although he's not here, Committeeman Corson for becoming a grandfather, first time. Very nice. And I also want to acknowledge the Upper Township Business Association. I was able to go to the community night. There was a lot of different residents that were there, young and old, well represented by a lot of the businesses. I think everybody that went there had a good time. There were a lot of handouts and things that people were able to utilize. In fact, I'm having a great time with these little sticky note things that come off like a Scotch tape that I've been using for things that I am working on myself. But I think most importantly, the theme of this community organization party or whatever, that night that they had, the community night, was that it was the ability to make sure that residents acknowledge the businesses that are here during the holiday season, to shop the small businesses that are here, and to acknowledge the businesses that serve our community, not just for Christmas, but throughout the year. They serve a real purpose and role in this community. I think all too often it's very easy to just go online and Amazon and all these other companies that have the ability to just, do something overnight, but they don't have the ability to give you the personal touch and the care that our businesses have here in the township. So I would ask everyone to do what they can to pay their share and participate in the businesses, not only at Christmas, but, throughout the whole year. And I think I also like to acknowledge a lot of the service organizations in the churches that are doing a lot of food bank collections now. I had the pleasure of going to St. Maximilia Parish this afternoon. They were putting together over 100 Thanksgiving full dinners with turkeys and the whole fixings. And that's just, one place, one parish, one church that's doing it. There are many, many other individuals, the community bank, the food bank, are doing their fair share. And I just, this time of year, it's important that we do a little bit more and do what we can to help out others that are less fortunate. So, and I'm happy to say that Upper really contributes and does their fair share in supporting those that are less fortunate. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, we'll give thanks to those that are working very hard to help those that are less fortunate. So, with that, we'll go on to the meeting.
Item number 1, authorizing the mayor and township clerk to sign a contract with Atlantic Regional Medical Center for advanced life support services.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 2, canceling the refunding taxes on exempt property for block 414, lot 59.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
And Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 3, reappointing Janet McCrawson as municipal court administrator on an ad interim basis for a term of 1 year effective December 1st, 2018.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 4, authorizing the chief financial officer to sign a spending account client renewal confirmation form with Tryon Group for an employee health reimbursement account.
Motion to authorize?
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Directing the distribution of the Township of Upper's net return surplus funds held in trust by the Atlantic County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund.
We may need to have some discussion before we move this resolution. The amount, it's a rebate that we receive each year. This year, it's the sum of
Quite substantial.
$45,886. We already have in our aggregate excess loss contingency fund, which covers deductibles and co-pays from March if insurance. We already have $60,917. When this first came in, we've never been in this situation where we've had so much of a loss reserve and then another large check came in, at least not in my tenure. So the question is, you have three choices. One is to credit it towards next year's premium, which obviously would help next year's budget because you're going to have to pay that premium either way. The second choice is to receive just a voucher and a check for it, all right, a payment. And the third choice is to add it to that $60,000 that's already $60,917 that's already in the aggregate excess loss contribution fund, or you could split it. I talked to Rich and I talked to John. One of the things I suggested was reach out to our risk management consultant, Tom Heist, and get some data. And he reviewed it, and he basically said, based on our anticipated claims and claims that are existing, it doesn't make sense to put it into the aggregate excess loss contribution fund, that it probably makes much sense to just reduce the premium for next year. If you do that, I don't believe you need a resolution. That can just be a voice vote to take that direction, and then Barbara Spiegel or Barbara Young will send in the required forms to Jeff.
And we'll need the mayor's signature as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
The chart of the exposure that was in our packet, is that anticipated with the outstanding opportunities for exposure that we have? I mean, one of them was a court case, another one was...
Right, it's minimal compared to what it was in prior years when we had issues going on. You got, even the exposure is only, it's a copay or a deductible.
Correct.
And most deductibles that I've seen are in the $20,000 range. You've got 3 large case deductibles and you don't have 3 large cases pending. So it just sits there.
Yeah, okay. So it kind of makes sense to roll it into the prepayment.
Yeah, I mean, I would think it would be frugal of us to do it, to reduce the premium, than to bring it back and put it in the general funds, because, we could potentially use it somewhere else, and we might as well use it towards where it's supposed to be, slotted towards, and that's, for the insurance for the township, so. So you don't think we need a resolution to support
Well,
that?
it's just a motion and you're gonna have to sign the form. Motion second and roll call and sign the form. But it's not on the resolution, because the resolution only is if you're splitting it or giving it to the excess.
Make a motion that we apply it to the premium.
Second.
Mr. Farr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 6, authorizing the township to participate in a regional submission for a FEMA flood mitigation assistance planning grant award application.
Move the resolution?
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 7, authorizing a refund to J Dogs Catering and Amusements for overpayment of vendor fees.
Move the resolution?
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 8, budget transfers.
Move the resolution?
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 9, authorizing a contract with TAG Consulting Group for maintenance of the township's fixed assets accounting and reporting system.
Motion to authorize.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 10, authorizing the mayor and township clerk to sign a contract with Marsh and McLennan Agency for insurance and broker consultant services.
Move the resolution?
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 11, tax refund for Block 568, Lot 5.
Motion to authorize.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 12, tax refund for Block 565.05, Lot 25.
Move the resolution?
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Young? Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Going down my list here. Motion is carried. Item number 13, certification of cost for abatement of nuisance on Block 653.01, Lot 4.
Question on this one before we go. I saw that there was administrative charge tacked on at 20%.
20%.
I believe our ordinance is for an administrative charge of $175 or...
No, that was under the prior ordinance, the new ordinance, because it's only come to the board once, there's less administrative fee. However, there are fines for repeated violations. In other words, it goes to municipal court for fines. Correct, Paul?
Correct.
Okay.
It's more streamlined process administratively, but if they're repetitive, there'll be fines. The fine, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I believe it's progressive.
It's a progressive, and
It's like
once you get like the
$150
third
the first
step,
one.
it's pretty steep once you get up over 3.
Right.
Am I confusing a fine with an administrative fee to cover the cost of sending out the letter?
The administrative fee is for the notice and the abatement, okay, plus the actual cost of correcting the violation, all right? Then there is a separate action in municipal court for violating our ordinance, and that's where the fine and the progressive fines come in for numerous violations.
Gotcha.
So we can recover our costs beyond what the
Definitely
fine
covering
is.
our costs,
Either
and
way.
if they're repetitive, they'll get fined,
Yeah, either
which
way.
comes back to us because it's a municipal ordinance.
Okay, a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 14 on the ordinances, public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 16, 2018, an ordinance authorizing the sale of lands for block 453.10, lot 378.
Okay, so unless there's any comments from the Township Committee, I'll open up if anyone from the public would like to address the Township Committee with respect to this ordinance. Now's the time to do so. Please come up to the podium and state your name and whatever reference or questions you may have. Seeing that there's no public comment on this ordinance, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion for adoption.
Motion to adopt ordinance number 16-2018.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 15, public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 17, 2018, an ordinance amending revised general ordinance, Chapter 8 of the Code of Upper Township.
Again, I will open it up to the public. If there's anyone from the public that would like to address ordinance 17, 2018, now's the time to do so. All right, seeing that there's no public comment, I'll close the public comment portion of the hearing and entertain a motion for adoption.
Motion to adopt ordinance number 17-2018.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 16, introduction and first reading of ordinance number 19, an ordinance amending revised general ordinance, Chapter 20 of the Code of Upper Township. And if we go forward, we could have a public hearing on December 17th. That will work out.
Make a motion to introduce.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
And Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 17, introduction and first reading of ordinance number 20, 2018, and ordinance amending ordinance number 17, 2017, known as the salary ordinance for the calendar year 2018. And again, the public hearing on December 17th.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 18, introduction and first reading of ordinance number 21, an ordinance establishing salaries for the Township of Upper for the calendar year 2019, and public hearing again on December 17th.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 19 under new business, St. Maximilian Colby Parish requests waiver of the zoning board application fees.
I will note for the record, we've had this before, that at least two of the the Township Committee persons are members.
I think it's all three of
Three
us.
of you are now. All three of the Township Committee persons are members of the church, as is their solicitor. There's a rule out there for conflicts, and it's called rule of necessity. So in order to be able to act, if it's a necessity that you waive the conflict, you're entitled to act. So just noting that for the record, you can proceed.
Make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
And I would just like to interject that this isn't specific, this, even though this request for a waiver of the application fee is for St. Maximilian Colby, of which the three of us are members, as well as Mr. Young, that we would certainly take high consideration for any of the churches or parishes in the community for the same request. So I don't think we're
I
acting.
think you've taken the same
I think
action
we've
for other
taken it
churches as
before.
well.
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coe?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 20, under discussion, request to vacate a portion of Bergen Avenue adjacent to Block 507, lots 1 through 10.
This was tentatively approved to move forward at the last meeting. The notice to the adjoining property owner was sent out, and an email was received on November 15th from that owner objecting to the street vacation. So I would suggest that if the requester has not already been advised, that they be so advised, and to either resolve the issue or have it explained to them that the township doesn't proceed when both the adjoining property owners don't agree. It's been the practice of the township not to proceed.
Yeah, typically when we have one of the adjoining parties opposed to the request, then the township committee doesn't move forward with it, so. Unless they can maybe sit down and work things out, I wouldn't say it's table, we're not going to, are we denying it?
I would just say unless a change in circumstances occurs, it will not come back.
Okay,
At least that's what you've done in the past.
right.
And if that's what you would like done,
So we need
then
to
just
have
make a
a form of
motion to that
motion?
effect, and
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Carried. Okay, then we have our pending bills.
I hereby move that all claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved and then incorporated into the full minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
There are a number of reports from the municipal departments: Animal Control, Clerk's Office, Finance Office, Green Team, Municipal Court, Department of Public Works, and Tax Collector. All these reports will be available upon request tomorrow at the Clerk's Office. I'll make a motion to accept these reports.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
So this is a very quick meeting. We are now to the public comment portion of the meeting. If anyone would like to address the Township Committee, now is the time to do so. Please come up to the podium, state your name and your reason for addressing the Township Committee.
Good evening. I'm Blanche Adams, representing the Upper Township Business Association from Steelmantown. I just wanted to revisit the Exit 20 full interchange discussion. This is still coming up with our business members, especially the ones located along that Route 50 and Route 9, and I'm still being asked about it. So I did contact Senator Van Drew's office last week to just get an update, and my understanding is that it's not funded for 2018, not exactly a debt issue, but not a priority with the state, if I have that correctly. Correct. So Senator Van Drew's office said, that's what they told me, it wasn't funded, and I said, is it dead? And they said, not really dead, it just hasn't reached the top of the list for priority funding. And I asked what we could do about it to get it to the top of the list, and was told just continue to do the same things, make calls, send letters. I know that we've already done that. The EDAC has petitioned, you've done a resolution, the surrounding communities have done resolutions, so I wanted to know what your insight is and what do you think we could be doing? because I don't want it to die. The members are still concerned about it, and
I'm not quite sure what the senator response is for not being funded. There was a feasibility study done by the state, DOT, and they came out with 3 different solutions. You know, one was to consider doing the full interchange because the state does not recognize 3-way interchanges now. So there was a request originally for consideration for at least putting a southbound exit at 20 because the land is already owned and would not, at least in most people's minds, be that difficult to do a southbound exit off of 20. But the state, the DOT has said that they are not going to allow any 3-way interchanges. They only are, they will look at requests for full interchanges. So they came up with 3 scenarios. One was a full interchange. The second one, I believe, looked at the environmental impact of it. And there was, I think, a third one, and I'm unfortunately drawing a blank. But to summarize it, it was that at this time the DOT is not sure that it actually is financially reasonable to do it, but more importantly, there are significant environmental issues to overcome. So the DOT does not have the authority to just say we're going to build something here without any ability to look at the agency, which I guess would be the DEP, to look at what environmental impact and how that would affect the construction of it. So as far as I know, there's some continued studies and talk, as to the feasibility. But they've pretty much said to us that they're not going to consider a 3-way interchange because at a conversation I had with them in Trenton, I guess about a year ago, I had suggested is there an alternative of at least doing a northbound, like do the southbound and then maybe consider something or at least look at where the old railroad track is on Butter Road to see if there's an opportunity to do a northbound exit there because there's already a bridge there they can go under and go up, and you would think that it might not have that much environmental impact. But I'm not the DEP and nor are my colleagues. So that the biggest issue is a significant impact environmental issues that is really making it somewhat difficult, along with the fact that they also stated that there's a lot of bridge construction going on, namely what's going over Great Egg Harbor. And apparently they've had some, I guess, cost overruns and those kind of things that, but, based on the study that was performed, the biggest issue is that environmental issue.
okay. So is there anything that we can do?
Well, I mean, we'll continue to work with, obviously the current legislative group, meaning, the senator is off soon to be the, congressman-elect. So, I guess we're kind of like waiting to see who's going to take his place. And then, from there, we can continue the discussion. I know that there's total support by the Township Committee, and there's certainly total support by the residents here. And, all you have to do is go on Route 9, whether it's 8 o'clock, even on a winter day in the morning, or, pretty much any time during the day in the summertime, that, there's a need to find some alternate route to get folks onto the parkway. So it's not the answer you're looking for, and I don't have, I don't want to give false promises because I just don't have any indication that we're moving in a positive direction at this point.
Okay. Well, I'll take that back and we'll see what happens.
Probably not the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to address the Township Committee? I'd like to acknowledge at least our participant from the state troopers. Thank you for attending this evening. So with that, in the shortened meeting, on behalf of the Township Committee and all of our staff, we want to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving and hope that you have a very safe and healthy one. Please be careful driving. I saw a report today saying that it will be the most traveled holiday probably in the last 20 years. So be safe. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to go out of open session and go into executive session.
I hereby move that a resolution be incorporated into the minutes authorizing the Township Committee to enter into an executive session for the following matters pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. The matters are personnel and contract negotiation for Fire District website services, annual appointments, and the sale of land for Block 735, Lot 2.21. I also include in my motion the estimated time and the circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public as follows. It is anticipated that the matters discussed in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Committee that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. With respect to employment and personnel matters, such discussions will be made public if and when formal action is taken or when the individuals involved consent that it can be made public. With respect to contract negotiations, such matters will be made public when negotiations have ceased and there is no longer a reason for confidentiality.
Second.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.